If you're walking 10,000 steps a day, but your visceral fat still feels hard, thick, and stuck, you're probably not burning visceral fat. You might be reinforcing it. You see, visceral fat doesn't respond to effort, it responds to hormones. And if you're walking wrong, your body can stay in fat storage mode even when you think you're doing everything right. Today, I'm going to show you the 5 walking hacks that can flip your body into visceral fat burning mode without having to walk longer. And the 4th one is the mistake that's canceling out most of your effort. So stay with me, let's get right into it. Now, before we get into the walking hacks, you need to understand what visceral fat actually is, because this isn't the same type of fat you can see in the mirror or pinch on your body. Visceral fat sits deep inside your abdomen, wrapped around your vital organs like your liver, pancreas, and intestines, and that's what makes it more dangerous than regular fat. It's not just extra weight. It's metabolically active tissue that constantly sends signals inside your body. And here's where most people get it wrong. They assume all belly fat works the same way, when in reality, visceral fat behaves completely differently. You can walk more, eat less, and still feel stuck if you're not addressing what actually controls it internally. Because this type of fat is not primarily influenced by effort or calories alone, it's influenced by the internal environment your body is operating in. And once you understand that visceral fat is essentially hidden and protected deep inside, it becomes clear why it doesn't always respond quickly to the things people usually try. So the real question becomes, what is your body actually responding to if not just movement and calorie burn? And that's where the internal signals come into play, which we're going to break down next. So if visceral fat isn't really responding to effort alone, then what is it actually responding to? Because this is where things start to shift, and where most people completely miss what's happening. Your body is constantly receiving signals that tell it whether to store fat or burn it, and one of the strongest signals is insulin. Now you don't need to think of this in complicated terms, just understand this: when insulin is elevated, your body is more likely to stay in storage mode. And when that signal stays high throughout the day, it becomes very difficult for your body to tap into stored fat, especially visceral fat. But it doesn't stop there, stress signals also play a role. When your body is under constant stress, it shifts priorities, and fat burning is no longer at the top of the list. So even if you're walking consistently, if these internal signals are not aligned, your body doesn't respond the way you expect. And this is why 2 people can walk the same number of steps, follow similar routines, and get completely different results. It's not just what they're doing, it's what their body is responding to while they're doing it. So now the question becomes, how do you actually influence these signals in a way that works with your body instead of against it? And that's where things start to get practical. So how do you know if this is actually happening inside your body? Because most people don't realize it until they've been stuck for months. Here's where it starts to become more obvious. If your belly feels firm instead of soft, almost like it doesn't move or change much, that's one sign. If your energy drops in the afternoon and you feel that crash even when you haven't done much, that's another. If your waistline keeps slowly increasing or just refuses to go down no matter how consistent you are, that's a big one. And here's the part that confuses a lot of people: you can even look relatively normal on the outside and still have this going on internally. So you end up thinking, I'm doing everything right, why is nothing changing? And that's exactly the trap. Because at that point, it's not about doing more. It's about understanding what your body is actually responding to. And if you're noticing even 2 or 3 of these signs, there's a strong chance your body is staying in a fat storing state even while you're putting in the effort. Which is why this matters, because if you don't catch this early, you just keep repeating the same pattern without realizing what's actually blocking your progress. And this is why visceral fat becomes such a problem, because it's not just sitting there waiting to be burned off. It's active. It's constantly interacting with your body. It sends signals that can increase inflammation, affect your energy, and make your system more resistant to fat loss over time. And the more this builds up, the more your body starts to protect it. That's why it feels different. It's not soft and easy to lose, it feels stubborn, almost locked in place. And here's where it gets even more frustrating. The same things that used to work for you years ago don't seem to work anymore. You walk more, you try to eat better, you stay consistent, but your body doesn't respond the same way. Because at this point, your body is no longer just reacting to effort, it's prioritizing stability. It's trying to hold on, not let go. And unless you understand what's driving that response internally, you can keep increasing your effort and still feel like nothing is changing. Which is why just doing more isn't the answer. Doing the right things at the right time is what actually starts to shift this. And that's exactly where most people begin to see a difference once they make the right adjustments. So now let's get into the part that actually changes things, because walking itself isn't the problem, it's how and when you're doing it. Hack number 1, a morning walk before your first meal. This is when your body is naturally in a lower insulin state, which makes it easier to tap into stored fat, but here's the key, you don't want to overdo it. Keep it light, around 20 to 30 minutes, because pushing too hard can shift your body back into stress mode. Hack number 2, walk right after your meals, especially your biggest one. This helps your body handle the rise in blood sugar more efficiently instead of storing it, which directly impacts fat storage signals. Hack number 3, this is where most people get it wrong, your walking intensity. You don't want to go too slow, but you also don't want to push too hard. Stay in that middle zone where you can talk but feel slightly out of breath. That's where your body becomes more efficient at using fat as fuel. Hack number 4, and this is the one that quietly cancels everything, constant snacking. If you're eating every few hours, your body keeps getting the signal to store, not burn. Even if your walking is perfect, this can block your progress. Hack number 5, adding a little resistance. This could be a slight incline, light weights, or even just increasing effort slightly over time. This helps activate more muscle, which improves how your body handles energy and makes fat burning more efficient. Now, if you combine these the right way, you're no longer just walking, you're sending the right signals. And that's what makes the difference. Now, here's where a lot of people unknowingly cancel everything they're trying to do, even if they're following those walking hacks. 1. Walking while stressed, distracted, or constantly multitasking. When your body is in that state, it's not focused on burning fat, it's focused on managing stress. 2. Holding onto treadmill rails or making the walk too easy. That removes the actual demand your body needs to adapt. And 3. Consuming sugary drinks or even certain coffees right before walking, because that can spike the very signal that blocks fat burning. So even though it feels like you're doing the work, your body is receiving mixed signals. And that's why progress feels slow or non-existent, and this is exactly what happened to many people who were walking consistently but saw no change until they made small adjustments. Not more effort, just better timing and better signals. Once those shifted, their waist started responding, energy stabilized, and things finally moved in the right direction. Because here's the truth, your body is not broken. It's just responding to what you're consistently telling it to do. So if your belly fat hasn't changed, it's not about walking more, it's about walking smarter. When you lower the signals that promote storage and support the ones that allow burning, everything starts to align. And once you understand that, you stop guessing and you start seeing results.